Good afternoon. Uh, I have a pleasure to announce our neuroscientist Professor Suzana Herculano. She's a famous neuroscientist from Brazil. She has published a lot of articles, important articles, and books. The last book is Fique de Bem com Seu Cérebro, or in English version, The Neuroscience of Well-Being. Suzana Herculano Rosel graduated in biology at the Federal University of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, then spent 7 years abroad getting a master's degree at a PhD in neuroscience at Case Western Reserve University, the University of Paris 6, and the Max Planck Institute for Brain Research. She is currently Associate Professor at the Federal University of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, where she both pursues research on comparative neuroanatomy and writes about neuroscience for general public. Professor.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Angela, so much for the kind introduction, kind and generous. I'm not famous, although my children certainly think I am. It is truly a pleasure and an honor to speak at this symposium on evolutionary psychology, even though I'm not an evolutionary psychologist. Somebody asked me whether I felt misplaced during these days here listening to all these talks, and my answer is not at all. I think it's truly an enriching experience to listen to people talking about issues that interest, I think, everybody who thinks about behavior, why we do things the way we do, why we feel the way we feel, and to be able to exchange ideas with people who think about all these issues in different ways is just truly a wonderful opportunity. So thank the organizers again so much for the opportunity both to learn from all of you and to be able to tell you a little bit about the work that we're doing in the lab. So in one phrase, what I'll tell you today is essentially this here. This is my message, that maybe we're not that special or not as special as we used to think we were. I'll show you the evidence we have that the human brain is actually just a linearly scaled up primate brain. And this is Okay, agora. No. Yes, I did. Ele vibrou, mas ele não está mais passando. Ele não precisa ser direcionado. Não, eu sei, ele vibrou na...
Technical difficulties. Just a minute, please.
Okay, this time it's for real. So this is what I'll be telling you this afternoon, that maybe we're not all that special, or at least not the way we thought we were. This is what we're basically interested in our lab at the Federal University in Rio, diversity. What you're looking at is just a selection of mammalian brains from the smallest one, an insectivore, to the largest ones here. This is ours. And you can see here that there's, at the same time, a good deal of variability. Just in size, mammalian brains vary by as much as 100,000 times. But while there's this much variability, there's also some kind of order in this variability and this diversity. So it looks like there must be sets of rules that nature follows as it builds brains or as it modifies how brains are built. And so this is our main interest. What are the rules that nature follows when it builds nervous systems or brains of different sizes? Now, this was the issue of where we fit in this diversity of the nervous system was actually a non-issue until the mid-19th century, because we were just not animals like other animals are. We were different. We were special. We were made in the image of God. And this guy here changed everything, along with Wallace and their followers and all the evolutionary biologists who since then have been passing on their ideas. Darwin was misunderstood, sometimes on purpose, I like to think, by people who twisted his words, saying that, well, we descended from monkeys, as if this should be a really offensive thing to say. For humans to have descended from monkeys, you would have something like this. Well, we know that what he meant, and what we find in, as far as we look, is that rather than having descended from the other primates in their living versions, let's say, what we share with them is a common ancestor. Very much like cousins share a common grandfather or a common grandfather. So this is what he meant, and this is how we are related to other currently living primates. We have a common ancestor. Now, at that time, we're in the mid-19th century here, about the same time when Darwin published The Origin of These Species, was also the creation of the first anthropological society by Paul Broca, who was a neurologist, and many consider the father of him to be the father of neuroscience. And it was about at that time that people started to accept considering the idea that maybe all that we do and who we are and what we think actually depends on the brain that we have and how this brain works. So when you put these things together, and you imagine a society that was complaining very much about being compared to other primates and being considered a cousin, let's say, of other primates, it's very understandable that at that time a lot of scientists, mostly anthropologists, started looking for, let's say, characteristics that would differentiate us from other primates, even from other races, from other peoples in the world. And well, of course, if we are to consider ourselves as animals, let's at least try to find a very high-ranked place for ourselves amongst other animals. So let's take a look at brain size.